What's good everyone, and welcome back to Numbers Off the Hook. Today we're going to talk about powers and exponents. So we're going to learn some new notation today, guys. So we write something like this: 2, okay, to the power of 4, for example. Now, when we write like this, the 2 in this case, we call it the base. Okay, so the base is 2. The 4 here, it's called an exponent. Exponent. Okay, and we say 2 to the power of 4. Okay, and what it means is, this is what it means. It means we're going to take the base 2 and we're going to multiply it with itself 4 times. So it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? So we took the base, we took the number 2, and we multiplied it with itself 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And why do we do it 4 times? It's because the exponent is 4. Okay? And we can see that this is equal to 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 2 is 4. So it's 4 times 4, which is equal to 16 in this case. Okay? Now, if you remember before when we talked about multiplication, we said that we can think of multiplication as an area of a rectangle, right? Now, let's do something similar. Let's look at the special case when we have a square, right? So a square looks like this, and it is a rectangle, right? But in this case, the sides are the same. So let's say the side here is A, and the side here is also A, right? Then we call this a square. Okay? Now the area, it's this side multiplied with this side. So it's A times A. Okay? Or using the new notation, right? This is a new notation we have here. Notation. Right? We can write it as A to the power of 2. Okay? So the area of a square with the side A is A to the power 2. Or we just say A squared. A squared. Okay? Another way, let's say we have a cube. Okay? This was the case now. The first case is when we had a square. This was a square, right? Now we're going to do a cube. So what is that? A cube, looks like this. Okay? This is what a cube looks like. And every side in the cube is the same. So if this is A, then this is also A, and then this side here is also A. So it's like a three-dimensional picture here. So it's like a box, but each side of the box is A. Then, if we want to know the volume, right? The volume of the cube is multiplying each side with each other. So it's going to be A, this side, multiplied with A, that side, multiplied with A, that side. So it's A multiplied with itself 3 times, right? So the A is the base, and 3 times. The exponent is 3. So we have A to the power of 3. A to the power of 3. And we call this A cubed, right? Okay guys, so let's do an example. Let's say that the base is 2, okay? And then we take 2 squared, right? 2 squared. And we said that's 2 times 2. Okay? 2 times 2. Or we could write it as we take the base 2 and we multiply 2 with itself 2 times. And the value here is going to be 4. Okay? So we say 2 squared. That's the terminology we have to learn. And the way of writing it, the notation is 2 to the power of 2. Okay? And then we said that 2 cubed is taking 2 and multiply with itself 3 times. So it's 2 times 2 times 2, right? So it's 1, 2, 3 times. So then we write 2 to the power of 3 because we multiply 2 with itself 3 times. And that's equal to 8 in this case. Then we can just keep going. We can say 2 to the 4th power. Right? Or we can write like this. 4th power. That means we're going to take 2 and multiply it with itself 4 times. Right? Or we write it like 2 to the power of 4. Right? And that's equal to 16. Then we can say 2 to the 5th power. That means we're gonna multiply 2 with itself 5 times. So it's gonna be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 2 to the power of 5 or 32. Okay? We can take 2 to the 6th power, right? Then we're going to multiply 2 with itself 6 times. That's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 2 to the power of 6. That's equal to 64. So we can also take 2 to the 7th power, and that's going to be multiplying 2 with itself 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 2 to the power of 7. And that's 128. And we can keep going like this. To the 8th power, to the 9th power, to the 10th power, and yeah, you can just keep going. Here also, if we go this way, we see that we have 2 to the first power. Right? And that means that we're only going to have 1 2 here. You see that? And that's going to be written as 2 to the power of 1, and that's equal to 2. And then there's a special case that you have to memorize, which is 2 to the 0th power. Right? And then we don't write anything here. And then we write 2 to the power of 0, and that's equal to 1. Okay? So 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Then every time I add a number in the exponents, it's going to be like multiplying this number with 2. So to understand this better, guys, let's do some examples, okay? So first here we have 9 squared, or 9 to the second power. And that means we're going to take 9 and we're going to multiply it with itself, because now there's 1 and 2 9s here, right? There's 2 9s here because of there's a 2 here. And that's equal to 81. Here we have, in the second example, we have minus 3. And we're going to multiply minus 3 with itself once, right? Because there's 2. So it's minus 3 times minus 3. So there's 2 minus 3. And minus 3 times minus 3 is equal to plus 9. So this is going to be 9. Okay. Why is it plus? Because when we multiply two negative numbers with each other, it cancels out, right? Here we have minus 2 is the base, right? That's the base, and we're going to multiply it 3 times. So we have minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. That's 1, 2, 3 times. So what do we have here? Minus 2 times minus 2 is plus 4, right? Because two negative numbers, again, when we multiply with them, it becomes a positive number. So then we can write this as 4 times minus 2. Okay? And now we're going to take 4 and multiply it with minus 2. That's 4 is a positive number, minus 2 is a negative number. So the result is going to be a negative number. So it's going to be minus 8. Okay? So the third power, minus 2 to the third power is equal to minus 8. Okay? Lastly, let's do this one. Here we have minus what's inside here in the brackets, and it says we're going to take 1/3 and multiply with itself 4 times. So we're going to do 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. Okay? And that's equal to minus, what do we have here? If you remember, we should multiply the numerators by themselves and the denominators by themselves. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, and then 3 times 3. 3. Okay? Well, 1 times itself is always 1, so this is minus 1 here. And then we have 3 times 3, that's 9. And 3 times 3 is also 9. So it's 9 times 9. And that's equal to minus 1 divided by 81. So that's the answer. Another way we can do this, a bit easier, is if we have this to the power of 4, like this, then we can see that we are taking the numerator 4 times, that's the exponent, right? and we take the denominator also 4 times, that's also the exponent. So we can write it as minus 1 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 4. And that's equal to, well, 1 multiplied by itself is always going to be 1, and 3 to the power of 4 is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And that's equal to, like we did before, 81. Finally, we're going to do these examples and we'll finish with this for today. We're going to write 49, okay, with the base 7. So how do we do that? Well, we know that 7 to the power of 1 is writing 7 one time. That's equal to 7, right? And then we take 7 to the power of 2. That's equal to 7 times 7, which is equal to 49. Okay? So we have 49 here, right? Just as here. So the answer is 7 to the power of 2. This one, we're going to write 81 with the base minus 3. Okay? Then we take minus 3 to the power of 1. That's equal to minus 3. We're going to take minus 3 to the power of 2. That's minus 3 times minus 3. Right? And this is plus 9, right? The minuses are going to cancel out, so it's going to be plus 9. Then we have minus 3, we're not there yet. To the power of 3, that's minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3. And that's going to be minus 27. Okay? And finally, we have minus 3 to the power of 4. And that is minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3. And that's equal to 81. So the answer here is, minus 3 to the power of 4. That's how we write 81 with the base minus 3. Okay? So we start with 10 to the power of 1, that's 10. 10 to the power of 2, that's 10 times 10. Right? 10 squared, right? That's 100. And then we have 10 cubed. That's 10 times 10 times 10. That's 1,000. Then we have 10 to the 4th power. That's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's 10,000, right? Just basically how many zeros we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros here. Then we have 10 to the power of 5. That's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And that's equal to 100,000. And then finally we have 10 to the power of 6. That's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And that's equal to 1 million. Okay? So the answer here is 10 to the power of 6. So instead of writing 1 million this way, we can just write it this way. 10 to the power of 6. And it looks nice, it looks cleaner. So it's much easier to work with this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Or more important, I really hope you learned something today. And I see you at the next video. Have a nice one.